For generations, the village of Obingwa believed some children were born with a curse. But on this night, one mother made a choice that would change everything. In a forgotten African village, surrounded by ancient forests, a mother gave birth to 2 children, and the sound of their first cries brought fear instead of celebration. The rain fell heavily over the ancient village of Obingwa, hidden deep within the emerald forests of southern Africa. Thunder rolled across the sky as Eka screamed in agony inside a small mud hut, lit only by trembling firelight. The first baby cries. Then suddenly, a second cry. The midwife freezes. The room becomes silent. The old women in the room exchange fearful glances. The midwife whispers, 2 children. At the edge of the hut sat Essien, waiting, while the villagers gathered outside nervously. They had heard the whispers. The signs were there. The prophecy. When the old midwife finally emerged from the hut, her face was pale with fear. "Twins," she whispered. The crowd gasped. An eerie silence swallowed the village. In Obingwa, twins were not acceptable. They weren't a blessing. They were an abomination. They were believed to be spirits, cursed spirits of destruction. For generations, every set of twins born in the village had been taken away before dawn and thrown deep inside the evil forest. No one questioned the tradition. No one dared. Inside the hut, Eka clutched her newborn babies tightly against her chest, whilst her husband watched in trepidation. 2 boys, tiny, helpless, though perfect. Yet outside, their fate had already been decided. Before midnight, the elders arrived. Leading them was Chief Elendu, a stern man whose authority was feared more than death itself. "The ancestors have spoken," he declared. "The children must be taken before the morning break." Eka's heart shattered. She begged. She cried. They both knelt in the mud, begging the elders. But tradition was stronger than mercy, or so everyone believed. That night, while the village slept, Eka made a decision. A decision only a mother could make. The kind that changes history. "We will leave tonight," Eka whispers. Essien looks at her, shocked. "Where will we go?" She looks toward the dark forest. "Anywhere, my husband. Anywhere safe. I will not lose my children. The spirits of our fathers will guide us." That night, they wrap the twins in thick cloths and disappears into darkness through the back door of their hut. Rain lashed against her face as both of them ran through the forest, each carrying a child. As Eka lashes into the darkness behind her husband, branches clawed at her skin. Thorns tore her feet, but she never stopped or cry of pain. Not once. Hours later, exhausted and bleeding, they reached the edge of the neighboring kingdom, a place where twins were not feared or condemned. Hours later, an elderly woman named Mama Grace found Eka lying beside a river, her husband gone in search for help. The old woman listened to her story. Then she smiled. "These children are not cursed," she said softly. "They were sent for a reason." Years passed. The twins grew. Kida possessed an extraordinary gift for healing, while Kada possessed an extraordinary brilliance in administration, impacting knowledge and conflict resolution. 0.01. Villagers traveled from miles away, seeking knowledge and healing. At the stage, the twins had become well known within the surrounding communities. They healed the sick, fed those who needed help, settled conflicts amongst families and communities alike. Their reputation spread across the region like wildfire. Eventually, the exploit became known in Obingwa, the village that had condemned them. At first, the elders couldn't comprehend the truth, not until disaster struck. A deadly sickness swept through the community. Children were the usual culprit. Farmers could not go to farm because consistent drought. Even Chief Elemdu, the feared and respected clan chief, became bedridden. Consultations failed. The gods seemed silent. Desperate, the villagers sought help from the renowned healers everyone spoke about. Days later, the two respected strangers arrived. Two young men dressed distinct and unusual attires. Twins. No one recognized them. Not even Eka, whose hair had turned silver with age. For years she had secretly mourned the children she believed were lost forever, after being taken from her. The twins worked tirelessly. They treated the sick, comforted the dying, restored hope. One by one, the villagers recovered. Even Chief Elendu survived. When the crisis finally ended, the entire village gathered to thank them with gift items, clothing and foodstuffs. That was when Mama Grace stepped forward from the crowd. People of Obingwa, these young men you call heroes today are the same children you once condemned to death. A stunned silence spread through the village. Faces froze. Mouths fell open. Eka, in shock, stepped forward. Tear streamed down her cheeks. She recognized the small birthmark on Kara's wrist, the same mark she had kissed the night she fled into the storm. Mother and children embraced as the village watched. Many wept openly. Chief Elendu lowered his head in shame. For generations they had feared twins because of ancient stories, but the very children they called cursed had become their salvation. That day, the community made a decision to change what their ancestors had held sacred. No twin would ever again be hunted in Obingwa community. And as years passed, the village became known throughout the land for something remarkable. Not for fear, not for superstition, but for the day two forbidden children taught an entire community the difference between truth and tradition. If you did enjoy this thrilling and exciting story, subscribe to Deadend Stories.